What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay coming back at you from Yankee and the Brit, reminding you to go on Facebook and go over and join Savage Football Memes. That's right. If you like football, then the place you need to be, Savage Football Memes. If you like, I don't give a shit if it's the NFL, the XFL, the USFL, Indoor Spring League, Savage Football Memes is where you need to be. So go check them out. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit Sports Talk. And today we're going to preview Week 14. But before we do that, we got to touch base on the Patriots versus Bills game last night, which was completely insane. I literally said to my wife, the only thing missing from this game is the leather helmets, because the Patriots literally, up until 6 minutes and 44 seconds left in the fourth quarter, threw one pass for 12 yards. One pass. And then they finished. Mac Jones went 2 for 3 for 19 and won the game. Josh Allen did not play as bad as people want to hit him just because the weather was awful. Some of his receivers didn't help him. Anytime he threw to the right, it was bad. So they knew anytime he threw, it had to go to the left because of the wind. But I will say this is the first time I've ever seen Josh Allen beg for a flag at the end of every play, which was weird to me. And you got the one crew that throws the least flags in football. Otherwise, there would have been a million flags in that game, but you just had the one crew that doesn't throw flags. So that's, again, with the reffing, it's kind of weird. But again, leather helmets. That's all that was missing. Leather helmets.
Yeah, but we were kind of saying it last week. It was like the reason that the Bills are going to lose is because they can't run the ball as well as the Patriots can run the ball. And the Patriots can run the rock. I was surprised the Patriots didn't win by more, given the way that the game kind of went, and that's testament to the Bills' defense, really, because the offense in that situation for the Buffalo Bills is not built for that kind of game, whereas the Patriots are built. That's what they are built for. Mac Jones goes an entire game for 19 yards. That's insane.
Well, I'm almost at the feeling now, not that they should change it and Buffalo never will, but it's like the Bills are set up like the old Colts, the Peyton Manning Colts, because they're really fast at the receiver position. They're really fast on the defense. They're almost built for a dome and they play outdoors. It was weird. But watching that punt from the Patriots that just went straight up and died twice, you were like, this game is going to be insane. This wind is out of control. And I have never seen a field goal kick go straight like this. Boom. Like, it was just gone. I was like, holy shit. That was the craziest win.
Shout out to Nick Folk for making 2 field goals in that win, by the way. Like, it's kind of fucked me over for fantasy football, but not by a lot. Like, I'm only 2 points behind, but I can't believe he scored any. I can't believe he scored any. Two field goals, like that basically wins his team the game, like managing to rock those 2 through the posts at that point when he was able to.
I wanted him to shank that last one because I was thinking of you.
I think I knew.
And that's no offense to Josh, who you're playing. I love the interaction with Josh, but I know you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, come on, Maddie, bring one home for the podcast.
I had a moment of, oh yeah, they're not going to kick it all when they went for the 2-point conversion after the first touchdown. I was like, oh, cool. I'm safe. They're not kicking it all, but no. And Folk, what a great kicker. What a great kicker to get 2 through the post on a night like that. Well done. Well done. You've won your team the game by being able to do that.
I will say, as rough as it was on the Bills, the honest to God truth is McDermott got out-coached by Belichick, hands down.
Yeah, and the Patriots have a fierce running game, like a fierce running game. That's what I took from, like, even though they didn't score many points, but like they have the opportunity to just mow it down because you knew they were running the entire time. Like, they didn't score many points, but that running game is mean as.
They broke a 64-yard run with a guy with a pulled hamstring. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, it was insane. I even set out a post on Yankee and the Brit that said, if this wind keeps up, that 64-yard run might be the game.
Yeah, and it just it was the block. It's the blocking from that offensive line is incredible, and the Patriots are a team that you don't want to face. They can dice you up in a couple of ways now, and they held Josh Allen to under 10 points. And I mean, I know the weather also held Josh Allen to under 10 points, and the fact that the Bills don't have a run game and they really, really need to find something to run, and it's looking like the window's getting closed, the Super Bowl window's getting closed this year, not because they're not going to make it to the playoffs, but playoff football is running football. Like it's winter football. And if you're going to be playing some home playoff games, maybe in Buffalo, you're going to want a run game when it comes to then, when it comes to January. So the fact that they can't run the ball is really playing against what could be one of their greatest strengths. Because Josh Allen can throw the ball in any weather. Like he's been throwing the ball in Wyoming. I mean, he can throw the rock in any weather, no matter what you want. If you just had some sort of running game, then you could really let that weather play into your hands.
Well, yeah, we've both said since the draft, though, like the running game's going to be their Achilles heel if they don't figure it out. But with the Patriots, I am not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm putting that out there right before I say this. This team reminds me of the second-year Brady team that won the Super Bowl, run the ball, hit you in the mouth on defense, and have a quarterback who is going to make plays on third down. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but it's the same recipe.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a have that top class head coach, have a top class running game, and have that top class head coach ball out with your defense and have a quarterback who doesn't lose the game for you. And that's it. And that's exactly what they've got.
Well, Maddie, before we move on to week 14, I'm just going to give you and I a shout out because a few weeks ago when we called the Patriots the best team in the AFC, some people thought we were idiots.
Look at us now, top of the world.
Yeah, all right, on to the third.
I fucking hate the Patriots. The team that nobody likes. Well, I like them this year. I actually like them a lot more this year. There's something likable about the Patriots this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, I've never been a Patriot hater, but I see more softening online towards the Patriots. Yeah. I think it might be that Brady's gone and it's not two guys to hate now. You can hate Belichick and still respect the team. It's hard to hate Belichick and the quarterback and still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Deflategate's kind of gone over the top now. Like he did, like Tom Brady's not there. So they're past that. They've just got a head coach who's a bit of an asshole. But, you know, apart from that.
He wins. Well,
he does.
On to a coach who's on the fucking hot seat in Mike Zimmer. Backs up against the wall were his own words. Oddly, I honestly think the Vikings win this game. I think Kirk Cousins comes out with another decent primetime game to shut people up. I think that Ben Roethlisberger is not very good right now. And I know the Vikings are depleted and they're playing a D tackle at D end. I don't know why. This is one of those games I think they win because I told you before they're going to hang around. They're going to rip my heart out all year long. And we're going to be right in the mix for the playoffs and just miss it so I can get ripped out again at the end.
Yeah, it's like if there's a team you kind of want to play while your DBs are recovering or your DBs aren't playing well or whatever's happening with the Viking DBs, to be perfectly honest, then the Steelers is one of the teams that you kind of want. Like they'll run the ball, like the Steelers will run the ball really, really well. They'll run the ball at you down your throat. But they're not going to hurt you over the top because Big Ben doesn't quite have the arm. It's not to say they don't have really talented wide receivers because they really do. Yes. They really, really do. Yes. But so they could hurt you, but Big Ben won't hurt you, I don't think. And with that Vikings defensive line, I wouldn't be too worried about the run. I mean, they're probably going to rush for 100 yards, but rushing for 100 yards when you can't throw the ball isn't always a winning recipe. Like I get some rushing for 100 yards and still losing the game. Is Delvin Cook back? No.
I don't. They have him listed as week to week. Like, so he's not on the IR.
Yeah. He won't be back for a Thursday though. Like I think if it was a Sunday, I might give him a chance, but
Thielen's
a
the one I'm
Thursday.
worried about. I think Thielen will play because it's an ankle, but Thielen's the one I'm worried about.
Yeah, more worried about because uh, I always forget his name. Backup.
Madsen?
Yeah, Mads. He had another big game. He had another good running game. Like he can. He's not Delvin Cook, but he can hold this. He can hold the fort while Delvin Cook's away. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. I you know what we've been saying all year, and it's rung true quite a few times so far, is when good teams get humiliated, they come back and fight. And that's what the Vikings are going to do, I think. I'm going to be picking the Vikings in this one as well. You know, I have no faith in the Steelers. I don't understand how they win. It's just Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, and that defense helps sometimes because they're opportunistic. With the Vikings run game, Nwangu is showing that he's got some promise. And on returns, that guy is lightning fast and can see where to go. So maybe like him being in the backfield will help make up for the speed that we missed from Cook, even though Madsen will get the majority. To still be able to have a 1-2 punch while your top guy is out is always nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, on to the Dallas Cowboys. And I am going to be completely honest. I've been thinking about this, Maddie, and I blame you. I'm blaming you because I feel like they should be playing better than they are, so that when I say something bad about them, it looks like I'm crushing them to the rest of the world. And I feel like you raised my expectations because they have all the talent in the world, and I still want to see them click. I think they are the better team. I think they should win this game. I am picking them to win this game, but I almost went with Washington.
It's the kind of game that, like, Washington have started to get it together, and that irritates the hell out of me. Taylor Heineke is a playmaker who you don't know what's going to, like, you don't know what he's going to do at all at any point. You don't know how good he's going to be, how bad he's going to be. And that defense is starting to do something. With that said, they only scored 15 points last week. So I don't care how well your defense is playing. If a team is only scoring 15 points, beat them. You should beat them in that point. Like they got held by Vegas to 15 points, and Vegas's defense isn't stellar in any aspect. But then they did hold Vegas's offense, which is pretty stellar, to 13 points. So their defense is playing well, but the Cowboys have to win this. They should win this. I haven't raised your expectations. The players that the Cowboys have assembled have raised your expectations. They should win these games.
It's you talking about the players, like, because they always have a talented roster, and I'm always like, yeah, prove it. And then I listen to you, and you start to make me believe.
Well, you know, maybe I should be a preacher. Maybe that's my next line, my next life, a preacher. If the teaching stuff doesn't work out, I'll teach the word of the Lord instead.
Well, hey, you're the way you speak will work well in just regular teaching too. You'll be fine.
Yeah. But honestly, if they don't win this, I don't know what happens, because we've got to play the football team again. They're only one game back now if they win, and I worry. But the football team run the ball well, they defend well. But Taylor Heineke, who is playing much better than everybody thought, but he's still Fitzmagic. He's got the Fitzmagic gene, doesn't he? He's got the Fitzmagic gene. And this Dallas Cowboys defense picks people off for fun. And I could see that kind of happening again. Like I could see quite a few picks being thrown. And they're starting to get back into their stride. We have Randy Gregory back. We have Neville Gallimore back. Like, we're hitting our stride at the right time, as far as I can see it. And they should win this game.
So, to be fair, I don't know how Pro Football Focus comes up with this number, but they had put something out that to be a championship contending team, you need to score 33 points a game in the league that we have now. I don't know where they came up with that, but that's the number they threw out. 33 points per game is pretty much what an offense needs to be cranking out. And your offense can do it. They're just not. So I keep waiting for them to start clicking. I think it'll happen, but I keep waiting.
Yeah, and it has to happen, right? I thoroughly believe it will happen, but it has to happen this week. Like this is the team that you've got to put away. If you're gonna have it click, this is the week, right? If Dak Prescott, if for some godly reason, I have no idea why you are listening to us two, but Dak Prescott, this is the game. This is it. $75 million. This is the one that we need. And then we can talk about third seed, second seed, maybe even first seed, not like whatever, right? Because we play the Cardinals. So it's not out of the realms of possibility. But this is the game that you need. We'll talk about the rest of it after this game on Sunday.
Well, we'll move on to a game that I don't know a ton of people that are excited about, but we'll go to the Saints at the Jets. I don't know. For me, I just think the Saints will win because they're a better team. I don't even know who's playing quarterback. Even if you put Simeon back in at quarterback, I think that defense is good enough to shut down the Jets, and you probably are only going to need 21 points to win this game.
Yeah, and scoring 21 points on the Jets shouldn't be too difficult. It's not like the Jets are a bunch of bums on defense. Like they have players on defense that this idea that the Jets are a walkover is not necessarily true. They're not. I wouldn't say they're a soft touch or a walkover. You've got to play them hard. It's just they don't quite have the talent or the experience to go forward from there.
Their same problem is the Lions are better probably, but the same issue with the Lions. Like they just don't have the talent, even though they just beat my Vikings. But you get my point. Like,
I get your point.
They're not winning games because they're still lacking on talent, not the heart, not the will, not even the coaching. They'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. And the Jets will probably get there as well. I say stick out with Robert Saleh for another year, see if he's real.
Give him the whole 5, dude. Give him the whole.
Like,
I'm so sick of this bailing right away. Like, what is this right away? What happened? I just had a guy tell me the other day that Jalen Hurts is garbage, and you've already seen it. You prove it. And I said, dude, he's only played 16 games. And he's like, how much do you need to see? You can see he's garbage. I said, Aaron Rodgers only won 6 games in his first year starting, and that was his 4th year in the league with a team that was just in the NFC Championship game. We got to give these, and the same with coaches, you got to give them some time.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely. The Saints are going to win this game due to the fact they have John Gruden. No, not John Gruden. They definitely don't have him. Sean Payton.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be horrible. But yeah, and they've just got a better defense. Not necessarily a more explosive offense, but definitely an offense that can be put into a position to win games. Whereas the Jets, you never feel confident. I wouldn't be too surprised if this went to the Jets, but I'm picking the Saints.
Yeah, I think the Jets would have a better chance if Michael Carter was healthy. He's been looking pretty good for them. But the Jets, like we said, they're rebuilding. They just need to start building a culture and do what they need to do, get some more talent. They're going to put up a fight, but the Saints.
If the odds are good on the betting lines, if the odds are good, I'd pick the Jets. If you're getting good enough returns.
And that's a teaser, so stay tuned, you guys. I will give you my 3 picks for the week later this week. Falcons-Panthers, probably a close game, divisional game, 2 teams that are kind of struggling. But I still think the Falcons win this game just on the fact they got a better quarterback. They're clicking better. And even if it is Cam, which Cam is playing, I don't know. Cam got benched. It's weird. That whole Panther season is weird.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to say with this one because in my mind, I thought the Panthers, and then I thought of the situation that the Panthers are in. So I switched it to the Falcons because weirdly, the Falcons are more stable than the Panthers. Like that's all I've got that can pick the difference between these two. The Falcons are the more stable roster. They're the more stable, just team. Matt Ryan is obviously just a solid quarterback, and they have weapons. Like they should be doing much better with the weapons that they've got. Cordero Patterson is a stud this season, an absolute stud. The Panthers have a great defense, but they're not really doing anything on offense. And now Cam Newton's going to rush for 5 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably what'll happen now that I said that too. But I don't know. Let's move on to the Seahawks versus the Texans. We here again. I just discounted Russell Wilson, and he gets the win. It's not that I think the Texans are great or anything, but I just don't have a lot of faith in the Seahawks. But I'm still going to pick the Seahawks reluctantly because they're the better of the two teams, I think.
I don't have any faith in the Seahawks, but I do have faith in Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett to get enough going that they'll score enough points to beat the Texans. But I also have faith in Tyrod Taylor to not lose them the game. So the Seahawks are going to have to win this game rather than the Texans losing it, as far as I'm concerned. But when you have Russell Wilson, he can win any game if he really wants to.
Yeah, that's one of those weird ones, and one that, unless you're fans of the team, nobody's lining up to watch. But a game that's going to be very interesting on Sunday is the Raiders versus the Chiefs, because it has big implications for that division. The Raiders lose, they're going to fall farther behind. If they win, they're right up there. So it's big for the Raiders. The Chiefs are starting to finally play better. So can they win against a team that always gives them a run for their money? With all that said, Chiefs are right in the ship. Chiefs win this game.
We're really agreeing this week. I've got the Chiefs as well. I've got the Chiefs winning this game because their defense is playing lights out football at the minute. Their defense is playing some really, really good football. They held the Cowboys to 9 points, for God's sake. Like they're playing really, really well. The only issue is that Patrick Mahomes, and it's weird to say this, but the Kansas City offense is their weakness. So think the start of the season to now. It's almost like they can't have both this season. They've got to have one, and they've been choosing the defense recently. Now you just need to get the other side clicking, and as soon as Patrick Mahomes gets back to basics and just throws the ball to people if they're there to throw them to, sometimes that's all you've got to do, and then just sprinkle in the special throws rather than being special every goddamn throw. Then just. Right. Just go from there.
The Raiders play predominantly cover 3 zone. They don't usually get out of it, which is very weird to me, which is why they lose some games. But with that kind of defense, as long as Patrick Mahomes keeps doing what he's been doing the last couple of weeks and takes what they give him, takes the check downs, and then hits them when they switch up, they'll be fine and should win this game. Patrick Mahomes just cannot get out of the offense and try to win it on his own. That's all. And they'll win this game.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. And I think it's difficult to assess the Chiefs, really, because you're comparing them to something that we've never seen before. Like the Chiefs offense, like it has been for the past 3 years, is something we've never seen before. And you're comparing them to that. Well, Patrick Mahomes is a great kid, young kid. He'll bounce back, I'm sure. He's just having a lull kind of period, and I think they've got enough to win this game due to the fact that their defense is playing so well, which seems weird to say.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say before we move on is it's really, think about this. Most teams would take Patrick Mahomes right now, how he's playing, over their starting quarterback. So yeah, that's this kid he'll be fine. On to another quarterback, well, 2 quarterbacks who have been struggling. One's definitely because of injury, not saying that Baker's would be ruling the world otherwise, but that kid's tough. And I think just breathing at this point probably hurts. But Lamar's been a little off, but I keep saying it, but I'm not worried about Lamar yet. I think he'll get it. I just think that sometimes when you put that much pressure on one player in an offense, you're going to have times where he's off and the team's going to struggle. But I think he gets it back on track this week against the Browns.
I don't know. I am a bit worried about the Ravens, if I'm being perfectly honest, because the Steelers aren't a great team. They're not an incredible, they've got an incredible coach and they've got a good enough defense, but there are just times where the Ravens just disappear. Like it's not like they just go a little bit cold. It's like they just forget how to play offense their way sometimes. Like through phases of a game, they'll be the hottest team in the NFL, and then through the next phase, they'll disappear.
Well, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I don't expect them to win the Super Bowl or anything. So when I
Yeah.
say I'm not worried, I think they'll be fine and make it to the playoffs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, the Browns have disappeared this year. They're not the team that we thought they were, and they've been plagued by injuries. Yeah, but they also haven't played well enough. Like there's a lot of times where they just haven't played well enough at all, and their defense has let them down on games where Baker's been able to throw, and then Baker's not been able to throw, and they've not been able to get the run going because Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are out. So, but then their defense starts to let them down. And it's just they've just not been the team that we've all thought they would be this year. And I think they'll be good next year. I think they'll bounce straight back. And I think what Kevin Stefanski will be doing for the rest of this year is working out what the problem is and just going from there. But I'm going to pick the Ravens due to the fact that the Browns have not been great, but at the same time, I'm not completely sold on the Ravens due to their ability to disappear in games.
That's fair. It's completely fair. On to a team that, another teaser, check out our power rankings for this week, that fell down my power rankings in the last few weeks. Jags versus the Titans, but I don't even care who's running the ball. The Titans win this game. I don't give a shit if it's Vrabel lining up running the ball, and it's not because of the offense, even though when they are on, they're explosive. It's because that Tennessee Titans team is going to hit a rookie quarterback in the mouth.
Yeah, they're going to go straight after Trevor Lawrence. They're going to go straight for him. The Jacksonville Jaguars are probably they're more promising than the Houston Texans, but they're probably the least complete team in the NFL. Is how I would sum them up at the minute. Like, they have 2 wins due to the fact they have a lot of young talent, but their young talent isn't really complete yet. Like, there are weaknesses all over the Jags. Like, all over the Jags team, like, you can find them and you can slot in players from third string decent teams who would play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, the Titans should beat them, and they will beat them due to the fact that their offensive line moves people and their defensive line likes to get after people.
Yes, sir. But onto a team that you actually should probably be cheering to not keep it going, because you got to play them in 2 weeks and they're in your division. Giants versus the Chargers. But Maddie, if it makes you feel any better, I think the Chargers walk the Giants. I think the Chargers are going to come out and walk all over the Giants.
The Chargers are kind of so much better than the Giants. There isn't a position that I can think of where I would pick a Giants player over a Chargers player. I'll think of one. Put it in the comments below if you think of one, a Giants player that you would pick over a Chargers player. If you're a Giants fan, you're not allowed to play. That's cheating. Not on, because you probably think Daniel Jones is better than Justin Herbert. That's just madness. But the New York Giants are just not a good team. They've fallen apart. And if I was them, I would just quit now while you're ahead. Daniel Jones is not the problem in New York. I'm going to say it again. Daniel Jones is not the problem in New York, and I'll go red in the face saying this. He's not the problem. There are millions of other problems in New York. But this is down to the fact that the Los Angeles Chargers can be an absolute buzzsaw when you come across them. You saw them this weekend against the Bengals. They can just blow people out whichever way they want to. Austin Eckler's having a good season. Justin Herbert's probably the best young quarterback in the NFL at the minute when you look at some of the stats that he's pulling out. Kyler Murray's obviously pretty good as well, so it depends which type of quarterback you like. But Justin Herbert is just a freak, and I think they're going to walk this game as well. I agree with you.
Well, on to a game with the Lions. Fuck you. The Broncos versus the Broncos. All right, wait for it, guys. Upset alert. Lions get their second win. I am not impressed with the Broncos the last couple of weeks. The Lions have played a lot of tough games. I don't think this is because they beat the Vikings and I'm being a prisoner of the moment, but maybe. I don't think so, though. I think the Lions are one of those teams that, like you said, had the chance to win a few games already. And I think if they can ride the momentum of this win and not act like they just won the fucking Super Bowl by winning a game, I think they might be playing better right now than the Broncos have the last couple weeks.
The Lions are the best one-win team that I think you could ever ask for. They play such a together brand of football, and I'm just going to go to whatever. With this one, I think it's going to be so close. I'm just going to go to the opposite of what you said in the idea of having a little bit of difference. I'm going to go for the Broncos, but I think it's going to be a close game. I've not been impressed by the Broncos, but then are we ever really that impressed by the Lions' ability to put 4 quarters of football together? That's their problem. That's their problem. They play great stretches of football all season. They've played some awesome stretches of football, but do you trust their ability to put 4 quarters of football together regularly? I do not. But I'm not sure how much I trust the Broncos either. But Javonte Williams nearly made my rookie top 5 list. Go check that video out. He nearly made my rookie top 5 list with how well he's been playing the past few games. That guy can run the ball and run it hard. And then the fact that they have so many weapons as well, and their defense should be better than it is playing. I mean, there's no reason for the Broncos not to be good, and they should beat the Lions.
Well, Teddy is a smarter quarterback who will not make bad decisions. Jared Goff is way more talented, so we'll see what happens. If Jared Goff doesn't do some Jared Goff type shit, like we say, not that I'm saying he's Carson Wentz, but we say it with Carson Wentz too. Carson Wentz doing Carson Wentz type shit kills teams.
Yeah.
If Jared Goff doesn't do some Jared Goff shit, they'll be in this game at least. Man, Maddie, I'm not gonna lie. This next game, I picked the Bengals 49ers, but this is one of those games where you wonder which team is going to show up for each of them. And I wouldn't be shocked if somehow the Bengals shot themselves in the foot and the 49ers won this game. But I'm taking the Bengals. The only thing that makes me worried is the 49ers can get after the quarterback. And we've said it all year. The Bengals offensive line is their weakness.
Yeah, 100%. And I've gone for the Bengals as well, due to the fact that the Bengals' consistency is so bad. I don't think their performance can be as consistently awful as it was last week. So they're going to play incredible this week, as far as I'm concerned. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Absolutely fair. Yes.
Yeah, they play a terrible game, they play a great game, they play a shit game, and then they play they play a great game and then they play a shit game after. I mean, that's just who they are. Have they won 2 games in a row this season? I don't know. I haven't really checked. But have they lost 2 games in a row this season? They feel like that kind of team. The 49ers also feel like that kind of team, but I've seen them play consistently bad football at times. There's just been parts of a game where you look at the 49ers and you go, what are you doing?
Right.
You just watch them like that. Whereas with the Bengals, you watch that as well, but they've got talent to overcome that. The 49ers are all system, and if the system's not clicking, then I worry for them. I do worry for Joe Burrow's health in this game, though. I still think he's going to win if he gets the shit kicked out of him, but I worry for his health.
Yeah, and part of his problem is he's tough as fucking nails, too, so he'll play through some shit he probably shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. He'll win them the game getting smacked in the mouth behind the line, but, how often do you want that to happen?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, on to a game where I'm going to start out by apologizing. Bills Mafia is going to have a rough 2 weeks because they're going to lose again to the Buccaneers.
I agree with you. I mean, if you don't have a run game, then what chance have you got against a good team? I think that's just fair enough. It's going to be much nicer not being able to run the ball in Tampa than it was in Buffalo last night, though. So that's a positive for them. And the Buccaneers secondary is not the best. But
no.
Do you know what? I've talked myself into going for the Bills.
Really?
Yeah. Upset of the week. I've talked myself into. It's not going to reflect in my power rankings that we're doing later on, but I've just thought Josh Allen throwing in the Florida sun has an absolute cannon of an arm. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary is not the best in the league. It's got some holes in it. You can pick that apart. And the Buffalo Bills defense is the best total defense in the league. The New England Patriots are the best points scoring defense in the league, but the Bills are the best overall. And if you play in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're going to need a good defense. The only thing that is a real problem is the fact they're not able to keep Tom Brady off the field because they can't run the ball. But
And
I've
that
talked myself
defense has
into going
been
for the
playing.
Bills.
That defense has been playing great since Vita Vea was back. I'm just saying, like when Vita Vea is on the field, that's a completely different defense.
But Vita Vea stops the run, and Buffalo
Vita Vea blows up the whole center on pass games.
He does, but Buffalo can move the pocket with Josh Allen. Like I understand what you're saying, but Vita Vea's primary thing is stopping the run. Well, the Buffalo Bills don't run the ball anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
The worst thing a quarterback hates is pressure right up the gut, though.
Yeah,
so
100%. Vita Vea is an animal.
And I don't know.
It's an upset.
I think playing bad becomes contagious, and I don't think the Bills have been looking good. But we'll see. If they win this game, they're right back on track. Well, to a game on Sunday night that a couple of my friends will be at, the Bears versus the Packers. Hey, man, it's the oldest rivalry in football, even though I think to be a rivalry, one team can't just dominate. But, okay, whatever. The Packers beat the Bears. I don't care which quarterback's starting, but the Bears have a better chance of staying in the game with Andy Dalton.
The Bears have a better chance of their franchise actually being successful if they play Andy Dalton this week. 100%. Like, they'll be in the game for longer. I would say they have a better chance of winning if they play Justin Fields, and they have a better chance, but they have a better chance of staying in the game if they play Andy Dalton, and they have a better chance of Justin Fields being a great quarterback in the future if they play Andy Dalton this weekend. Because why rush him back? Just let him rest. Just let him rest. Because this Packers team is lights out defense the entire time, an absolute monster, and their secondary's evil. So why do you want Justin Fields throwing against that kind of shit? And it's just not the right time to bring him back. Just lose. Chicago, just wrap this shit up for the season. Just wrap it up. Like, play hard, but don't play yourself out of a top 10 pick by putting Justin Fields in there for absolutely no reason.
Plus, why make the kid go out and play in a bad offense that he's not even going to be running next year because Matt Nagy's going to be gone?
Yeah. And even if he isn't gone, which he is going to be gone, but even if he isn't, they're going to revamp that. Like, the offense is the thing that they're going to revamp in the draft, right? Like, that's what they're going to go for. They can't spend any more draft capital on the defense. It's the only thing that they draft apart from Justin Fields, really. Like,
yeah, and they don't have a first round pick.
Yeah, well, but you get good wide receivers, good running backs and stuff lower down as well. Like, your second round pick, always has a chance of being the best player on your team. I mean, look at Trayvon Diggs. I know he's a cornerback, but there's players that you'll grab in the second round, wide receivers that are better than what they've got at the minute, especially with the way college football is. Yeah, it's a Packers game. They're the best team in the NFL. What more do we need to say on that one?
Oh, yeah, and they're playing Sunday night at Lambeau, and that's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood right there. So he comes out and plays on primetime great. He plays at home great, and he plays against the Bears great. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he owns them.
He did say that, didn't he? That's right. Yeah.
He better win.
Brett Favre.
He better win.
Brett Favre have owned him. Yeah.
Yeah. He better win.
On to a game that I think is probably going to be one of the better games of the week. It's a divisional game. It's a game that both teams need to win because the Rams need to catch the Cardinals. The Cardinals want to keep that first seed open to get that bye. I hope it's a really good game. I hope it's a close game. It's two good defenses. I'm going with the Cardinals, though, just because they're on fire.
This game is huge. This is an absolutely huge monster kind of game. And the Rams played really well against the Jags. We didn't cover them in our review, but they played really well against the Jags. Odell Beckham looked good. Like, Odell Beckham looked like a red zone threat. Like, he's definitely going to do something for the Rams. Cooper Kupp he has 100 receptions on the year, 100 receptions on the year already, Cooper Cup. 1,400 yards of receiving in this year alone. That's incredible. He's incredible. The Cardinals have Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins and Buda Baker and Isaiah Simmons and defensive lineman Chandler. Is that Chandler Jones? Yeah, Chandler Jones. Like, it's the Cardinals for me, just by the fact that they're playing more upbeat football. Like, they're beating the better teams. Like, the Rams went through a shitty space and they've blown a few cobwebs off against the Jags. This is going to be a good game, but the Cardinals are going to win it.
So a couple years ago, I took a straight beating online for saying that Simmons was the most athletic player in the draft and could change a defense. And people got so mad at me. Oh, he's too big to play corner. He's too small to play linebacker. He's too this to play safety. And I'm like, this motherfucker's just an athlete that you're going to put on the field. So I'm really glad to see him playing well, because out of college, I was a big fan. It does help that he's in a stacked defense. Buda Baker's a monster. But on top of that defense, that offense, what do? It's a rough game for the Rams, and the Rams need to win it.
Yeah, what do you take away if you are the Rams? Like, what do you take away? Kyler Murray's ability to run, James Conner's ability to run, or the ability to throw the ball? Which one do you take? You can only take one. I think
you got to set the edge so that Kyler can't scramble. Setting the edge is more important than the actual pass rush.
Yeah.
And I actually think that you need to put Jalen Ramsey on hop the whole game and hope that helps. And then you hope that Donald and them can get up the middle to get the pressure. But that's asking a whole lot from a lot of people.
Exactly. And the Cardinals have shown it's like people are surprised that they're still doing this well. They expected them to fall off, but they haven't shown any sign of slowing down yet. The Cardinals, like, they went through a Kyler Murray injury. They played with Colt McCoy and they're still 10-2. Like, they haven't shown any sign of slowing down at all yet. They're a fantastic team. The Rams are a super team. What they've assembled, some of the names that you've got there, and it'll come down to one or two points, but the Cardinals will win this game for me.
Well, there you have it, guys. Me and Maddie just gave you all the winners. So thanks for watching, guys. What was that, Maddie? Sorry.
One day, if we do this enough, we'll eventually get an entire one right. One of us.
Yeah, and you'll definitely hear it if we do that.
Yeah, I'll go absolutely insane.
Well, stay tuned for our Week 14 Power Rankings. All right, guys, one world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.